Hi everybody, hope you're well. So I had a question from Clo748, and the question was, would you be playing so much of Star Stable if you didn't post on YouTube? I subbed a long time ago for Howrse. I'm 19 and I tried the trial, but don't know if it's worth the money. How much fun do you really have since you're an adult? Thanks. Okay, so I thought this was quite a good question, and I thought I could type an answer to this, but I thought the answer would get kind of long-winded. So I thought to myself, I think I prefer to sit down and actually talk about this. So I have found that in the past, this is going back many years ago, people suggested Star Stable to me, and I kind of overlooked it. If I'm really honest, I didn't think I would enjoy it. I thought it looked really childish, and so I never looked into doing it, never started a game on it or anything like that, didn't try it out. And then I got a request to start it on YouTube from Alyssa Tigris, and that's when I started it. And once I got into it, I found that I started to spend more time on Star Stable than on Howrse. And for years, Howrse has dominated my online game time, more than any other game that I have ever played. And I don't think I would have started Stable had I not got that request. I think if I had to say, is it worth it? I can't tell you really for you if it's going to be worth it, but what I can say is the things that I enjoy about it. And there are a lot of things I really enjoy about it. I enjoy the racing, I enjoy the championships, I enjoy doing some of the daily things. And there's some daily things that I hate doing because they're really tedious. But generally, I really enjoy the quests, and the majority of them I find really funny and enjoyable. And I think that different parts of the game offer different challenges. I think another thing about it as well is I think overall it can be a lot cheaper to play than Howrse. Now, one thing I will say in Howrse's favour is that if you want to play Howrse completely freely, you can, but there's a very limited amount you can do. I suppose the same is kind of true with Star Stable. If you're not a Star Rider, you can only play up to level 5. And I think that kind of sucks a bit, but they do release a lot of free codes a lot of the time, and usually, there's ways to get them and at least play a little bit, even if you don't get to play for a long time, because sometimes they release 3-day codes, sometimes they release longer codes. And when I first started initially playing it, I actually used my mobile because you could buy it with mobile credit, and I bought it that way. And I bought them for short periods of time, so I tried it for 2 weeks, for example, and I tried it for 2 weeks in Star Rider, and I thought I really like this, and then I tried it again, and then it just got to the point where I was like, you know what, I should just go and get Lifetime, and I did, and I don't regret that. I still really enjoy it now. Okay, I haven't played it for a full year yet. I think that Star Rider offers a lot more, and if you get Lifetime, I do think it's worth it, because if I compare how much you have to do in Howrse to Star Stable, there's a big difference in that Star Stable is kind of gives you the ability to buy horses that don't expire. Like in Howrse, for example, you buy a skiller. I guarantee you basically as soon as you have the skiller, it's out of date, or it's out of date really quickly, or the horses that you breed top GPT suddenly are out of date really as soon as they're born, and it's kind of this constant. Your horses are never as good as they once were, okay? But when Star Stable, your horses don't degrade. You can buy a horse and still be able to use it in 6 months down the line or years, down the line. And I like that about this game. I like that I can, not have to worry about that I can have different horses and know that they're not going to waste away, and lose value, as they would on Howrse if there were horses there. And I like that. It's very important, I think, because it means that it's more worthwhile. And I think, if you were to buy, every single item in Star Stable and every horse that came out and everything and all the clothes, yes, that would amount to a huge amount of money. But if you were to try and keep a top game going, buying passes on Howrse, you would spend a lot more, I think, in the long run. Whereas I think Star Stable, you don't have to do all that. It's not forced down your throat that you have to have this and you have to have that. The thing that really annoys me about Howrse at the minute is so much of it is if you're not a VIP, if you don't have this perk, if you don't have staff, if you don't have the expert diploma, if you don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have Grand Prix bonuses, you don't have a chance of winning any Grand Prix. Whereas in Star Stable, you do have a chance going into a championship. If you've leveled your horse to the max, you've maxed yourself out, or even if you're maybe not in the max, even if you just try and get the best items that you can, and maybe you're not even a star rider, you still have the chance, so long as you do your best and you practice and you get the best items that you can for your horse and so forth and save up over time. I think there's the ability to do that. You might even be able to get some free circlings whenever free codes come out. Horse doesn't give you 3 passes in that manner. So there is a lot of things that I really do like about Star Stable in comparison to Horse. I do think Horse has the benefit of being more in depth, but I think it's more expensive and it's more time consuming. Having said that, if you race a lot or you practice a lot or you try and beat your high scores in Star Stable, that can take a lot of time. Once you have unlocked all of the races on the current game, that can take you several hours to go through all of those. But once you have a horse maxed to level 15, you know, that horse doesn't degrade over time. As I said, you could spend half an hour or an hour bluffing horse on horse and it's going to lose its value very quickly. I think if there was things in Star Stable that I'd like to see more of, more team features, you know, possibly, you know, that we might be able to build our own races in the future. I would love if we could do that in Star Stable. That would be like the biggest thing for me, if I was able to build my own race courses and that, even if it was just for my team or something. I think if you kind of come back to the questions, I think I've slightly gone off topic a wee bit. How fun is it for me as an adult? I think it depends on what I do in the game. There are people that run really, really great teams that do events every day or at least a few times a week or a couple times a month. And those clubs are run very efficiently by people who are really into the game and they put a lot of time and effort in. And I think if you're in the later part of your game, whenever maybe you're level 18 or maybe level 19, and you're not progressing anymore, because that's the one thing that I think maybe is a problem for some people, is once you get so far in Star Stable, you're waiting for the Wednesday update to see if you're going to get new quests to increase your XP. So I think some people don't like that they have to wait so long for new storylines and new quests and stuff, and you will have seen in some of my Let's Plays that I've hit the limit for those quest lines. But for me personally, that doesn't bother me because I still enjoy racing and loving my horses and messing about with my team and my friends and stuff and just doing silly stuff. And I'm also not going through, you know, I'm not trying to get through them as quickly as possible. I'm doing them at a pace that I enjoy and I can have fun with the game. So I think it depends. If you're playing it solo, you don't want to talk to anybody, because there's some people that do that. I know I've met a couple of people in the game who are completely solo. They don't want to be in a club. They just want to play the game for the game. There's a couple of people that just like having a few friends, and then there's some who like being in the big popular clubs that do a lot of stuff. And I think it really depends on you as a person. I like the fact that also if anybody bothers you, you have the ignore feature and then you never have to see that person ever in the game again. That's handy. And also the fact that you can have more than one game. For example, I know a couple of players who have maxed out to the top level, so they'll start another game at a lower level and just work through that as they go along. They may not buy any lifetime or anything, they'll just wait until free codes come out and then use those codes to unlock and progress through it slowly, so that's something else that some people do. So I think if I had to say how much fun do I really have in Star Stable, I've had a lot of fun on Star Stable. But I think it has to it depends on you as a person, and I think what you enjoy, and you know, if you find that you're not into racing or you're not into championships, you know, you might get bored after a while, because some people I know are, some people I see who are always standing talking to people, I never see them doing anything else, which is fine, because if that's what they want to use Star Stable to do, socialise, and that's totally fine. But I'm the sort of person where I like to race and I like to do championships and do things like that, because I find that really fun and I enjoy that competitive edge to it. I think I notice that more in the older players as well, is I tend to see the younger ones like to socialise. And as I said, it doesn't necessarily mean this, but I just tend to find, it's not that this is set in stone or anything, because I'm sure there's plenty of younger players who like just race and do championships as well. But I tend to find, I think, in the older ones that I've met, is more of them they're more focused on quests, they're more focused on the reputation, getting the stars, getting the races done, getting the championships and topping high scoreboards and so forth. So I think it depends in that respect too. I think if anybody wants to try it out, try and get yourself a free code. I put them up as soon as I can. And the one thing I will say, and a couple of people have been asking me about this, is why some of the codes don't work anymore. You need to use the codes as soon as you can, because if you try and use a code from a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, it may not work. So if you can use free codes to get a rough idea if you're going to enjoy it past level 5, then I think maybe try it out with the mobile, because I think for 2 weeks was three quid on a phone. So if you have £3 on your phone, you could probably do that. And then try it out for 2 weeks and see if you enjoy it. And then maybe go and get lifetime. It's a big thing to go and get lifetime, because I think it's like 56 quid or something like that. But, sorry, pounds, in case anybody's wondering what I just said. But I think for me, I decided that otherwise I was going to keep paying subscription, and that was going to cost more in the long run for me. So I was like, I'll just put together enough to get it in one go, and that's what I did. Also, if you're going to get lifetime, wait until there's like a big offer. Sometimes they do massive offers where if you buy lifetime, you get like way more star coins than you would if you just bought it normally. I wish I bought it at a time like that, because that would be cool. But I think for me, I'm enjoying Star Stable a lot more than Howrse. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you're in a 3D world. You can actually race your horses, you can crash, you can succeed, you can completely fail at stuff. And I like that about it, because you don't get that in Howrse. I do genuinely, you would have seen this in some of the Let's Plays that I've done when I've done championships, I actually feel the adrenaline. I'm nervous. I remember racing Bob one time, and I won with a championship with Bob, and I felt physically sick because I was like so pumped up about it, and I wasn't expecting it. So I think for me, these are some of the reasons why I really enjoy Star Stable, and it's going to depend for different people whether you enjoy it or not, because I know some people have started to play it and have got bored, and that's fair enough. But I think it has a lot to do with what clubs maybe you decide to join, if you want to join a club, what you enjoy as a person, and I think you have to kind of think, what does Star Stable offer? I know some people really just enjoy the quests and find them really humorous, and some of the references that are there. So I think it's entirely dependent on you as a person, but I really do feel that I completely overlooked Star Stable as a game, and then once I started playing it, I got really hooked into it, and I really do enjoy it. And I think it's what you make of it, really. So that's kind of my overall thoughts on Star Stable that I can remember right now. So thank you to Chloe748 for asking the question. I hope you have a lovely day.